Well, Andy Farrell, you have your assistants in place, 5 of them. Can you just give us sort of a brief overview of why 5 and how you see it all working?
Obviously, it's the dynamics of the schedule and what that entails that makes you put a plan together of how training a week's going to work. It's got to be completely different to anything that's normal for the coaches or the players. So people who are adaptable, people who are obviously technically, tactically very good at the jobs, because you know the players are the best of the best. They deserve a coaching group that's exactly that as well. So everything comes into fruition, but the most important part, 100% for me, is how interchangeable they are, how they can adapt under pressure, how they don't get so precious about timings of stuff because of the dynamics are going to be. But more importantly, how they can interact, not just as a coaching group but with everyone else, because it certainly will be all hands on deck.
How easy is it to put together a group like that? Because I imagine you probably start with something on a piece of paper and they say, well, if we get him, well, actually then he could do that, so then actually we can bring in someone. So it's almost like a jigsaw, isn't it? I mean, did the 5 you ended up with, are they the same 5 that you started with 5 names on a piece of paper?
Well, obviously you bring everyone into account. I suppose my role that you learn very, very, very early doors is to make sure that you're patient enough so that you can understand what is exactly needed, you know, because I suppose once you've made a phone call, it's very hard to undo. It's impossible to undo. So being patient enough of being able to understand how it is that you want to attack this, and then acting accordingly with the right people to execute that.
It feels like a fresh start, and what I mean by that is previously you get coaches who've done previous Lions tour.
Yeah.
You're the only one with Lions experience as a coach. Obviously Simon went as a player in 05.
Yeah.
Was that a conscious decision?
I wouldn't say a conscious decision, no, not at all. But coaches who are at the top of the game in the here and now, with the players that are going to be available to us, they understand the dynamics of all of that. All that comes into account, obviously. So, and not just that, experienced but vibrant, energetic doers and givers to the team, and that's the dynamics that we need.
It's obviously a strong Irish connection within the group, but I guess just like the players, it's a new group of coaches that have to come together. You have to be able to work together as a group. Does that give you, if you like, that 2 or 3 steps already on the ladder, in the fact that you know each other already?
Oh, so certainly there's an element of what I know, but you only go with those thoughts because you know it's right, because you know that they fit, because you know that they deserve it. And I suppose it doesn't matter which country you coach or don't coach. Once you put that British and Irish Lions hat on, that's what you serve, and ultimately you serve the players as coaching staff, you know. So I believe we've got a brilliant group together to be able to do that.
Simon obviously was named as the man to hold the fort with Ireland while you were head coach with the Lions. I guess a few people might have thought at that point that could have ruled him out because Ireland have got games this summer. So was Simon always in the frame as far as you were concerned?
Well, he's an outstanding coach, so obviously he's always in the frame. He's done a fantastic job for not just for the last few years, for everything that Ireland's done as far as the defence is concerned, but over the years that I've known him, I mean, he was on board with Joe Smith there before I got there doing the line out, and now he's doing the defence, and obviously he's had a sniff at the head coaching role though, so his experience is vast, so somebody like that's always going to be in the frame.
In terms of the backs, obviously you've got Andrew, you've got Richard. I mean, job titles can kind of, you can make up what you. But how do you? What is So how do you see that dividing up between the two of them?
Oh look, there are so many different roles and responsibilities in as far as the bracket of attack's concerned. The backs is vast enough, but the whole dynamics of attack in general throughout the team is vast. With how the tour works, 3 games within a week. One team is preparing to play on a Tuesday or a Wednesday night. Some guys need to train that morning, that afternoon. Being able to give good enough feedback because to the players because they're all on the same page, because that's the type of people that they are. Them getting together for the first time yesterday and us talking through just chewing the fat there as far as roles and responsibilities that could happen. It'll be seamless because of the people, and that's why they're picked.
I'll ask you about Richard. As far as England were concerned, the coaching staff, a couple of months ago, were getting ripped apart in some parts of the media, and Richard's here as one of the best coaches in the world. Can you sort of just speak to me about Richard?
Well, what a story. I mean, it just shows his fight, his want, his ambition to get into coaching. At Leicester under Steve, obviously Steve saw something in him from his days playing with him at Saracens, obviously. And he was a player coach for a while. The dynamics of that is tough enough, and then to go into coaching, and then Steve left, and having the courage to take over as a head coach. I remember speaking to him about that and trying to help and get him to understand the dynamics of all of that. And it was brave to do that so early on, and those experiences have got him to the point, obviously international coach there with England, and then through all that, and it doesn't really matter, what people think from the outside. It's what you know internally, what makes people tick. One coach within any type of setup, you've got to understand the dynamics, and the fact is that Richard went from assistant coach to senior coach at England, so the experience that he's had and the experience over the last few years though, as far as his international rugby is concerned, and everything that goes with being an England senior coach, makes him a top candidate for this job.
You waited till after the Six Nations to get all of this because you want to see the coaches work as well as the players. Let's look at players now. You've touched on that you had a brief selection meeting yesterday and came up with 70 odd names. Yeah. How tough is it going to be to whittle it down to the 30 odd that you want?
It's going to be unbelievably tough. It is, because there's going to be some outstanding players that are going to be disappointed that they're not going to make the plane. I've absolutely no doubt that players at the start of this season, during pre-season, etc., had one eye on getting on that plane. There's only so many you can take. We're not quite sure of what we'll get to with the final numbers, but that'll be clear in the coming weeks. The more that we narrow that down and who's fit and available, etc. But yeah, the exciting part for me is, yes, it's going to be tough picking the 40, 41, 42, 38 players, whatever the dynamics are, because of injuries and people who are interchangeable in different positions, etc. But that's where the fun starts then, because the competition, whilst when we kick the game off at the Aviva Stadium there against Argentina, and then fly the next day to Perth to play the Force the week after, that's when the competition really starts. When the team starts competing against one another, and that's what excites me.
Lots of people are trying to pick your captain for you. If I asked you, you probably wouldn't tell me, even if you have decided. Have you decided in your mind, though, who you would like it to be?
No, I've not, because the captain has to fit for the players that you're going to select, and what type of personalities that are in there. Who's the other leaders in and around all that? So of course there's short enough list in my mind at this moment in time. That's pretty obvious for everyone to see, but I'm open-minded enough to see how we go in the next few weeks, months.
Just a couple of slightly different ones to finish with. What's your earliest Lions memory, Andy?
I would probably think, like most people my age, the South African tour, when the video came out for the first time. I think it was high for me because John Bentley was the star of that show, wasn't he? And he was a rugby league boy that I played against. So obviously he was more senior than me, but seeing how he flourished in that type of environment, and yeah, I suppose that was the first fly in the wall type documentary that everyone's copied, vastly now, isn't it, throughout the world. So what a tour, what drama right the way through. I think things have changed a little bit, obviously, for I don't know whether it is for the better actually, but the dynamics have changed, professionalism's changed, the way that everyone acts. There's the high performance team behind the team is vast now. I'm certainly more experienced in that regard, but being able to get into the change rooms and see the nervousness and the determination and the emotion of the players and how it unfolded in the story where the Lions performed and excelled in South Africa is the clear and obvious one to me.
And the final one, so you've got 75 names already. I'm going to give you a 76th because you can pick any Lion from history, from any of the tours, to put into your squad for this year. Who would you pick?
I picked Jason Leonard. Now, he'll be on the tour in some capacity, but not in a playing sense, more from a board point of view. I mean, the story's been told time and time again, but he epitomises what it's like. It's not just him. Plenty of others, If you put the shirt on, you've got to buy in to be the best teammate that you can possibly be. If you're not, the dynamics and everything that a line should be about is not right for everyone else concerned. And Jason epitomised giving himself to the cause. That's what's needed on a tour like this.